It's taken me over 6 years to build this camera kit right here. But there was a time where I didn't have all this camera gear. I never let it stop me from creating amazing images. So in today's video, I want to talk about the 2 mindsets that I have that I use to never let camera gear stop me from creating amazing photos. So let's talk about it in this video. What's up, y'all? It's a Project Photography back with another video, and as a kid who was always on a budget, I made sure to buy camera gear that really suit the needs that I had. I never always had the most perfect gear possible, which is why in today's video, I want to talk about 2 mindsets that I had growing up as a photographer on a budget that really helped me get through photography, learn skills, and become a better overall photographer. So let's jump right into the first one and let's talk about intermediate technologies. So first of all, what is an intermediate technology? What an intermediate technology is a piece of tech that's a lot more affordable, but still gets the job done that a lot of folks in these developing countries need to get done. And it overall will help to improve the quality of life and provide resources for more people because the technology is a lot cheaper. At its core, intermediate technology helps people in these developing countries get a better quality of life and reduces the barriers to entry to that. It's kind of like driving a car. Like, you don't need an expensive Lamborghini when a $10,000 car gets you to the same location. Of course, that newer, more advanced technology can get the job done faster, but it doesn't mean it should stop you from actually going out there and getting the job done that you were meant to do. And this is why I love this concept in photography in particular. Because so often, at least I know I feel this way, I know a lot of you guys feel this way, is that when it comes to a project, we have to feel like we have the most perfect camera gear possible in order to accomplish what we want to do. Sometimes I felt like when I was first creating YouTube videos, I had to have the best camera with the best autofocus and the best microphone. But I've honestly learned that it doesn't matter what gear you use in order to accomplish the goal that you have. Of course, we would all love to have the 40 frames per second, the insanely good autofocus, the incredible image quality of a lot of these high-end cameras nowadays to shoot something like sports photography. But back in the day, I used to shoot sports photography, high school football games with a Nikon D5500, which for sure is not the most ideal camera to shoot sports photography, but I got the job done and I created images that I was incredibly proud of. And when it comes down to it, your camera gear does not need to be perfect. It needs to be good enough to get the job done. Because once you feel like you get into this mindset of, I have to have the most perfect camera gear possible, then you kind of switch to this mode of being paralyzed, and you don't want to have that because you just want to go out there and create images. So when relating this to intermediate technology, the concept of intermediate technology has this message of saying you don't need the most perfect technology possible to improve your quality of life. And you can really relate this to photography, where you don't necessarily need the most perfect camera to create the best quality images and videos possible. It really is just all up in here, the knowledge that you have. And honestly, technology isn't going to be the limiting factor of the quality of images you put out at the end of the day. It's going to be you and your knowledge. So let's talk about the second mindset that I like to have, and it's acquiring new skills is like new tools in your toolkit. And the best way I can really explain this is by talking about lenses. So when it comes to lenses, right, if you were always stuck with that kit lens, that 18-55 that comes in every single camera kit possible, and you bought a new lens that has an f1.8 aperture, now you could bokeh out the background that you weren't able to do before because you have that wider aperture. And if you bought a focal length of, let's just say 16 millimeters, now you have a lens that captures much wider than your traditional 18-55. You can create a new set of images, you unlock new possibilities, and overall, you can potentially create better images. But there's a problem with this. When you keep on buying new lenses, there comes to a point where you have diminished marginal return. And the problem with that is that you can only buy so many lenses in order to actually benefit you as a photographer. And if you keep up with that mindset that you need to buy new lenses in order to make your skills better, over time, you're gonna be sitting there spending thousands upon thousands of dollars buying new pieces of gear that won't necessarily make you better as a photographer. And you keep building it up, and the marginal return on each lens will be less and less. But this is where skills come in and overtakes lenses as being the main vehicle to adding tools to your toolkit. Because just like a lens, a new skill unlocks a whole new slew of possibilities that you weren't able to do before. It helps you capture different images and creates a different sort of feel to your photos. It adds more creativity to your tool belt and honestly just makes you a better photographer overall. Because if you think about it, if you learn how to do things like create panoramas, focus stack your images, bracket, HDR, all those things, now you have more tools in your toolkit to be able to create images in the way that you want to express it. And doesn't this sound familiar to buying a new lens? But the difference is it doesn't cost you anything, and these skills stick with you for a lifetime. If you sell a lens, then you won't be able to use it anymore. But these are tools in your toolkit that you can use creatively for any lens, any image scenario, and helps you get around a lot of the troubles that we've come to and obstacles that we face as photographers. And for me personally, I felt like I was in a rut with photography these past couple of years. I felt like I got really stagnant. I knew I was creating some pretty decent images, but I feel like I wasn't super inspired. But then I really made an effort to make my images better. I watched how people edit their images and I took maybe one thing away from each video. But over time, it adds up and you're able to incorporate these different sort of editing styles into my images. And that's what really helped me to become a better photographer, but also be more inspired to actually go out there and shoot. Because sometimes you just feel really stagnant in your career. You feel like you're not moving forward. And when you're staying stagnant, you're plateaued, that's when you start declining as a creative. So if you feel like you're in a creative rut where you're not improving at all and the work that you create has just become uninspiring, go out there and try to create better work today. Learn some new skills, learn those new tools in your toolkit, and overall, it will help you create better images, be a better photographer, and be inspired to actually go out there and do more photography. Being better is a choice. Don't let the camera gear stop you from going out and creating amazing images today. And that's pretty much it, guys, for this video. I just want to mention that because I feel like this is something a challenge that I have faced a lot in my life and something that I want to pass on to you guys. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed, please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for experiencing the road with me today. I'll catch you guys in the next one.